not the stunt person. We do have two amazing people who are here in studio today. We have Stephen Dunlevy and his wife, Ellen. Oh my God, I'm blanking on your last name. Hollman. I was like, I want to say Hoffman every time, but I know that's not right. Ellen Hollman.
You can say Holmanator. That works too.
I'm going to say that. The Holmanator. Oh, that's actually gonna be a thing. We're gonna make it a thing. So they are both live in studio and we'll be answering so many questions at the end of the show. But first it's the end game week. So we have the 10th scale Iron Studios line first up. Then we will have the Hot Toys. Actually these are all Infinity War pieces. So Infinity War lines leading into Endgame, and that is going to be amazing. We're just gonna kind of go through these guys. These make diorama sets. You can create your own Infinity War leading into Endgame, and all this stuff that we're about to show you is in stock and now shipping. So that is gonna be really cool because you can add that to your collection as soon as right now. I mean, you can add it before we even feature it. We also have a Let Your Kids Sideshow challenge. Buffy is in the chats. We have so many people in the room today, so that's gonna be fun for the live Q&A. But it's gonna be a long show, so let's get started right now with our featured collector. This is Jason, and I apologize for your last name, Jackal? That werewolf is amazing. This horror collection is just rad. We haven't had a horror featured collector in a while. So we see Aglavale and Scratch, and then some Chucky, and then of course, that looks like our Patient Zero bust.
Sure is.
That's crazy. That's like old school. Jason, you've been around for a while with us. Or you really overpaid for that on the secondary market. So thank you, Jason, for sharing your collection with us. If you would like to be the next featured collector, head on over to side.show/blog and click the Apply Now button. We have all kinds of collections, horror-based, Avengers-based, DC-based, Star Wars-based, whatever you collect, we want to see it and we want to feature it here on the live show as well as in our blog. So again, that's side.show/blog and click the Apply Now button. We have so much to show you today, so we're going to head to our first quick video break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about the 10th scale dioramas from Iron Studios. You're watching Sideshow Live. We'll be right back. Hello everyone and welcome back to Sideshow Live. We are showing you right now these 10th scale Iron Studios diorama statues. They are so detailed, especially when you think about the fact that 10th scale is kind of a smaller scale for collectibles. Like we mostly deal in quarter scales, 6th scale, half scale, but 10th scale can be incredibly detailed and Iron Studios proves it right here. We're gonna start over here with the Hulk. So this has a Wakanda themed base in order to fit in with all the rest of the characters, except for Thanos, he's on Titan, but we'll get to him in a second. He is based on 3D references from the movie. So as you can see, he's based on what the Hulk would look like if he was in the Battle of Wakanda. However, the scan was actually done from the beginning of the movie where Hulk made his appearance with the Asgardians on their, invaded ship.
Too soon.
I know, I'm like, oh, too soon. And then I saw a question on the internet recently, and it definitely made me think. So Thanos got rid of half the Asgardians on that ship. Then he snapped. So does that mean there's only a quarter of the Asgardians left?
Yes.
Thank you, Sam. Sam says yes.
Yes.
That's so sad.
Shut up, internet.
So as if I wasn't sad enough going in, now there you go. Let's move on from that sad topic to our 10th scale Captain America. He is a polystone statue, as well as he is hand painted. He again has a Wakanda themed diorama base, as well as he has a translucent water effect on him as well. So remember that epic scene where you have Cap and Black Panther running towards the Outriders and they just jump over that like stream? That's kind of what that's trying to depict right here. He does have his Wakanda vibranium themed shield, as well as so many details in his costume that only really Iron Studios could do in 10th scale properly.
And
so
it's Dirty Cap.
And it's Dirty Cap. That's right. We had a whole thing yesterday. If you guys don't watch Sideshow and Tell, we really get into kind of details on characters and our preference for their specificities, so to speak. And so this is Dirty Cap.
Dirty Cap.
Dirty Cap. So there we go. Head on over to side.show/10th scale Cap and pick him up. Side.show/10th scale Hulk is where you would get the Hulk. Moving on to Thanos, the Mad Titan himself. This is a 10th scale art scale statue. That's kind of repetitive, but 10th scale art scale, sure. All the scales.
He's the Mad Titan.
He gets whatever he wants as long as we just like kind of lay low. Though I don't know that even helps with the whole snap situation, right? Because you don't get to pick if you get snapped or not.
It's like Santa's naughty list.
It's like Santa's naughty list. Oh man, I did not survive the snap. Oops.
Basically, if you're an original Avenger, you survived the snap. Everyone else had to go.
Rude.
Hey,
I know that's what happened. Anyway, out of all these statues, Thanos is the one that comes with the LED light up feature on his gauntlet that you can see. I'm gonna turn him. Sorry, Brett. You can't see the light in the studio lights. Also, we didn't put batteries in it. So, but if you got yours and had like at side.show/10th scale Thanos, you would definitely have a light up feature on yours. Now, what's kind of cool is that this base can be displayed in various ways, including if you don't want him to be so tall, you could have him more down here with some of the other Avengers, because there is an Iron Spider that comes on Titan as well. He's available for pre-order, as there is an Iron Man. So you can put the characters on Titan with him. This is a Titan themed base. And if you want them to be more in close proximity, they could be that way. Or if you want Thanos, you know, above everybody else, kind of in like a trophy setting, ahead and above, that's how you can display him here. So that is a pretty cool feature that isn't on a lot of statues that you see at all. We kind of had a lot of fun thinking of different ways to display him like that. So head on over to side.show/10th scale Thanos. And again, these are all shipping right now. So you can add them to your collection as soon as right now. Moving on to Falcon over here. I love the detail on this piece, especially when you talk about his little, what does he call them in, he calls them something in Winter Soldier specifically. Like, because he makes, remember, someone in the chat has to know, because he makes Black Widow, and she's like, I'm not calling him that. Yeah, so you get the details of them. They're all taking off together. He's actually about 17 inches tall. So for a 10th scale statue, that is a very big piece. He also comes on his diorama from the Battle of Wakanda. And you can really see the motion in the wings specifically. And we thought he looked super cool next to this Hulkbuster, because it totally looks like they're fighting together, and you really get the size of the Hulkbuster. If we zoom out, we can really see, because they're making like the same type of motion together. Anyway, it's just what I thought. Red Wing?
Red Wing.
Red Wing. Well, that makes sense. They're all red. There you go.
Our chat is faster than me on Google.
Yeah.
That's actually fair. We're pretty sure that JJ Joe, we decided like in our pre-show live show that he is the internet.
Except just now he said Detroit Red Wings. So.
Oh.
JJ.
Oh.
Well, he is the internet then, because that is what the internet will also do.
That's true. The internet does go off on tangents. We're pretty sure JJ Joe like is the internet, because he watches every single.
Artificial intelligence. Because he made a Siri joke right now.
He has to be AI, because he's in every single one of our chats from every single show, regardless of whether or not we tell people that this show exists or not.
Even if we're on two planes at the same time,
Right. He's in both platforms, so I'm pretty sure he's just the internet. Anyway, moving on.
Ghost in the Shell shit going on right
I know.
Or if you wanna keep
Or
it-
Skynet. Or he's Skynet.
Skynet.
Or he's Ultron.
Oh, in theme.
In
Anyway,
theme,
this is
yes.
getting way too complicated. So head on over to side.show/10th scale Falcon and add Falcon into your collection right now. See, I brought it back.
Like a little mini JJ show. We just
Right here is the 10th scale Hulkbuster, which is so cool and probably my favorite out of all of these pieces. Sorry, everyone else. This is, again, based on 3D renderings of the Hulkbuster as seen in Avengers Infinity War. He is cast in polystone, but he was painted with the same type of paint they use on cars. So that's how they got the specific sheen that they needed to have on him. So that's a pretty cool little detail about, let me move Falcon so you can fly over here and fight Thanos. Yeah. That is what people do with their statues. But I think that's really amazing. He also comes with these very cool thrusters on the back that are translucent as well. So you can see him in this motion where he's taking off and ready to fight. I imagine it's Cull Obsidian, because that's kind of who he fights in Wakanda very notably as well. So that's so cool looking. Again, head on over to side.show/10th scale Hulkbuster. That's side.show/10th scale Hulkbuster. And then you can add him into your collection right now. This is a very cool set to have together to display. And even if it doesn't really matter that these two didn't fight. Well, they did fight each other, but they don't have the same theme base. Look how cool that looks. Just these two together like that. You can pick and mix and match any of these, pick your favorite characters, make a battle diorama scene, and you can do that right now before Endgame. So there you go. That is the Iron Studios 10th scale statue collection. We will be right back after this break with the Hot Toys Avengers Infinity War collection. You're watching Sideshow Live.
Hey everyone, welcome back to How to Be a Poser. Today we're going for stark raving awesome, and to do that we'll be using the Thor 6 scale figure from Avengers Infinity War by Hot Toys. Let's get started. Alright, here's Thor from Avengers Infinity War in full-on Pirate Angel mode. It comes with a variety of accessories including Stormbreaker and these lightning effects that you can switch out with his armor. Can't wait to see what I can do with all this cool stuff, so let's get rolling. Alright, so here's Thor, our sexy Pirate Angel man. I think for this first pose I'm going to just go ahead and just do one that I've liked to do with one of my other Thor figures at home, and that's just have him catching the axe, which is really, when you think about it, the first time that we see Thor with Stormbreaker in the film. There's Thor's axe-holding hand. Pop that onto the peg. I want this hand, yeah. I just had this wrist peg pop out when I pulled the other hand off, and it actually wound up being a lot easier to plug the wrist peg into the hand that way than it was when the peg stayed in the wrist. So maybe make it a point to just go ahead and pull the peg out. I think that you have more control over it. You're less likely to do something that might result in an unfortunate accident. All right, a test for the arm flexibility. Looks like 90 degrees is about the most that you can hope for on a good day. I'm gonna have this arm out. Let's go ahead and turn this head, get him ready, because his body's gonna be turned this way. That's some pretty decent waist articulation. When Thor's catching his hammer and then axe in this film, he's got a very strong posture. His feet are slightly more than shoulder width apart. He's leaned back a little bit onto his back leg. It's like he catches the axe when it's right here, and the momentum of the axe carries his arm back a little bit this way. That's going to be exciting because that's going to stand on its own. That's a good rough pose. Let's go ahead and bring the axe in. Okay, lesson learned here. Probably should have put the axe in his hand before putting the axe onto the body. So let's do that. Let's put the axe in the hand. Be really careful when you're doing that, because you don't want to scratch the paint on the hands. All right. So let's turn that arm in just a little bit. There we go. bring it up. Okay, so his head, for my needs, his head's not quite turned as much as I want it to be. So let's have him look this way just a little bit more. It's gonna be tough because that armor's right there. Okay, I just figured out a great way to cheat this armor on the side here, and that's to have him kind of leaning into it, into the camera a little bit, and that way you can lift his chin up, and it just barely clears the armor. So yeah, again, just twisting this body just a little bit more just to try to get that dynamic angle in there. And you can see that I'm just kind of gradually bringing his body more and more forward just to suit my desired, just to get my desired pose. I've got him looking straight ahead now. I think that I've got this axe too high. Just thinking about it from the perspective of physics, if this axe, as much as it weighed at the top, would have come in that high in his hand, then it seems to me that it would just be a little bit top heavy. So I've lowered the axe a little bit in his hand just to compensate for it there. I'm just about done with the pose right now, but something I just noticed is that I didn't quite have the axe in a proper position. When you're any sort of a weapon with an edge, you want the edge of the weapon to be basically parallel with that second knuckle right here. So I'm just going to rotate that axe until that blade is roughly in that position. And that is a perfect return catch. And that's what that ought to look like. Done. Thor's journey throughout the MCU films has been this roller coaster ride of triumph and tragedy. Having said that, the moment when he arrives on Earth during the Battle of Wakanda, yelling, "Bring me Thanos!" This figure readily gives you the opportunity to tap into that moment and any other moment throughout the course of this film that you see fit.
I tried really hard during that How to Be a Poser to do like the "Bring me Thanos" like pose, but I think I kind of failed, and he looks a little bit more Peter Pan than God of Thunder. But anyway, this is happening. Yeah, he looks a lot more like he's about to do some sort of like Neverland ballet. But
Pixie dust.
yeah, pixie dust. This is my friend Tree. He has pixie dust. We just wrote a musical right now. Anyway, this is Avengers Infinity War, the Hot Toys collection. Wow. Just wow. We featured them all on the Hot Toys show on Friday. So if you would like to go to, well, actually, I guess you're on our YouTube channel right now. But if a little bit later you want any kind of more details on any of these pieces that you see right here, they were all on the Hot Toys show. So I'm going to try and get through them, not quickly, but in less detail than I did on the Hot Toys show. But again, they were all featured, and you can go get all that information on this exact channel that you're already on, so you already know how to get there. Yeah? Pretty cool. Anyway, we're gonna start over here with Iron Spider. The Iron Spider, oh man, how cool. Side.show/HT Iron Spider. This includes a newly developed head sculpt, and it has 4 sets of interchangeable eyes on one of them. Another one has a mask with an LED light up feature, and another one has the Tom Holland portrait. It also comes with 12 interchangeable hands, as well as spider webs of different lengths and sizes. He has a newly developed metallic themed costume, as well as the detachable gold colored Iron Spider prongs that are fully articulated. Yeah, I'm not breaking it. They're supposed to click like that, I swear. Again, he also comes with a mask, so Peter Parker can hold the mask when you have the Tom Holland portrait on it, but look at him on his dynamic Avengers Infinity War themed base, posed like the cool Iron Spider that he is. Now we have over here Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, again, he comes with so many accessories that it's ridiculous. There is just a huge list that's just the different spells that he comes with. He comes with time spells, he comes with protective spells, he comes with his red rope spell that he uses against Thanos, as well as this sword that we posed him with right here. He also has a very screen accurate and very, very detailed cloak of levitation that you see on him right now. He comes with his sling rings, he comes with eyes of Agamotto, and I say eyes because there are 2, one is open and one is closed. He has 14 pairs of swap out hands. That's crazy. Sorry, 13. My bad. And again, movie accurate to Avengers Infinity War. Head on over to side.show/ht.docstrange. Now,
There's a video of you and Fluffy.
oh, that's right. There is a video of me and Fluffy, and Fluffy does a really good job playing the cloak. Him as the cloak is pretty
We were
spectacular.
supposed to green screen him out afterwards, right?
Yeah, we were. Fluffy asked to be green screened out so you could just hear his voice and it would just be the cloak while we posed him. It was fantastic. Also, right here on our YouTube channel, you can watch it right here. So you don't even have to go anywhere today. You can spend your entire day, you know, I believe none of you have work to do, right? Right. No, of course not. Just Sam. Only Sam works. Everyone else plays all day. So moving on to the Mark 50. This is, first off, one of the most detailed figures and very accurate portrait of Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. They're kind of interchangeable at this point. I mean, he has been playing him for over a decade. But this is a die-cast figure, so it has a lot of weight to it. It also has LED light-up features in several different points on the body. 21 LED points to be specific, which is insane. He also comes with various swap-out hands, and then his weapons include the light-up nano repulsors, a cannon left arm, and nano blasters. And again, he has all three of these guys on Titan come with dynamic figure stands, so you can pose them in various ways, fighting the Mad Titan himself, Thanos. Moving on, do we want to go Rocket then, Thor? Let's go Rocket. So Rocket down here has, oh, Rocket. I love Rocket. Rocket and Groot come separately, but they also come in a 2-pack. So I think that short link right there takes you to the 2-pack, side.show/HT Rocket Groot. He has a specialized raccoon body with 17 points of articulation, which actually I think makes him a very flexible raccoon, if you think about it. Like, I didn't know raccoons could move in 17 places, and I love raccoons a whole lot. So he comes with various weaponry, including his blaster rifle, a gun strap. He has a utility belt with various vegan leather pouches, have to be specific.
Space cows.
Yes, space cows with his navy blue space suit. And he comes with a pair of hands specifically for holding rifles, as well as 2 other interchangeable hands. Since Groot is his buddy, we're going to go to Groot and then come back to Thor. This is the authentic likeness of teenage Groot, because there are likenesses of other various forms of Groot, as seen in Avengers Infinity War. He has 5 pairs of interchangeable hands. He stands at 29.5 centimeters tall and has 2 interchangeable head sculpts, one showing his kind of like more serious face and the other one a more relaxed face. So that's Rocket and Groot. You can head on over to side.show/HT Rocket Groot and get them in a pack together, or you can get them separately. Now moving on to, I still like calling him Lord of Thunder, because the Grandmaster was like my favorite. Like, I want a melt stick. I really want a melt stick, which I know is just really like a ball on top of a stick that you just put on people and they melt. But Lord of Thunder, he is one of, wow, that really does look like a Peter Pan-esque pose right there. That is not anything to do. Anyway, so he comes with a lot of stuff, just so you know. The list on him is extensive. So this comes with the likeness of Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Oh my God. Likeness of Chris Hemsworth as Peter Pan playing Thor in Never Neverland. He has a body with over 30 points of articulation, and he comes with a newly developed black-colored armored body with metal-colored plates, as you can see on him. He also has a LED light-up function. You can swap those out to put the lightning on him. He has lightning eyes, and they all glow. And they actually make a really excellent nightlight, if I do say so myself, because they light up really bright. Like, I don't know if any of you have lit that Thor. It can light a good amount of the room, like more than a candle. Just saying. He also comes with a magnetic detachable eye patch if you want to display him as Thor towards the beginning of the movie or Thor towards the end of the movie. And of course, he comes with 1 Stormbreaker. So moving on over here, where do we want to start?
Big guy.
Big guy? Let's start with the big guy. Hulkbuster. Hulkbuster. This is a power pose figure. So he has 6 points of articulation, which one of them is this head. I like the head always, to me, he wants to stare down the camera. See, he's like, Anyway, he comes with 18 LED light up areas, including the eyes, the arc reactor, the repulsor palms, the back, and the legs. And he has 4 pieces of interchangeable hands. Now, batteries for him are not included, but he does require 3 AAA batteries in order to utilize his light up functions. But this guy's just really cool and really fun, and he looks so good fighting next to Cap and Black Widow. So, Black Widow, let's start with her. I'm waiting. I'm like, because she looks so tiny next to the Hulkbuster, because the Hulkbuster's so big. She has, again, her weapons are what you really want to focus on when you see Black Widow. She has her short batons, long batons, disc shooters. She has her Widow's Bite wrist guards, which are those things that, you know, like they will give you a little bit of a shock when she hits you with them. She has a non-detachable baton backpack with 2 baton handles in it, you know, so she can do the thing from the movie, which you guys didn't see because you were on a close-up of the figure. That's what you should be looking at. It's just the part. She also comes with real fabric implantation, ash blonde hair. She has 28 points of articulation and contains the very detailed costume and like, what are they called? Holsters on her pants. And then, of course, the likeness of Scarlett Johansson. I, for one, am really looking forward to her in Endgame. Just saying. Now for the man himself, Captain America. Oh, wait, where is his? Oh, it's up here. Sorry, his notes. Captain America. He also comes, this is the movie, the movie.
Promo.
Thank you, movie promo edition. And the movie promo edition comes with specifically the weapon of Corvus Glaive, as well as the Outrider diorama that we have put on the bottom of his base here. Now, even if you don't get the movie promo version, the regular version comes with the 3-pronged spear of Proxima Midnight and the accurate Wakandan shields, as well as Cap in all his glory with his fabric costume, his likeness of Chris Evans, his 8 interchangeable gloved hands, and again, all of his weapons on his belt and his boots. So that's Captain America right there. That is a lot of information that you guys have absorbed from these past 2 segments. I believe we're coming back to see the Infinity Gauntlet. Correct, Sam?
Yes.
Yes. So we will be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sideshow Live. We have the life-size Infinity Gauntlet right here, right now. It deserves its own segment just for its sheer size. And by the way, I'm not a short person, so me next to this gauntlet, like this gauntlet is huge. I still like to tell the story of when I first saw it in our emails that said like, we're gonna get a Hot Toys life-size Infinity Gauntlet. I figured human life-sized, right? Because most things are human life-sized, like the life-size Iron Man armors are for humans. No, this is Titan-sized. I feel like calling it life-size isn't big enough. It's Titan-sized, and it has the detailed likeness of the Infinity Gauntlet as seen in Avengers Infinity War. It has multi-layer metallic painting with weather effects on it, so they had to develop a whole new painting process in order to replicate this accurately for this piece. It has LED functions. It is lit up, right? Sorry. Okay, I can't tell because of the studio lights. I'm really sorry.
Turn them off for a second.
Oh, okay.
It's the middle.
Oh. Whoa. Ooh. Ah.
Show the
flicker.
blinking.
How do I do that?
Go all the way to the other side of it.
No, yeah. Just flip that
One more.
side.
There you go. And then it'll wait.
Wait.
Oh,
There.
there it is.
There it goes.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that now.
It's like National Lampoon's Christmas in here right now.
It is. This is so cool. So the two LED light up functions include the general light effect and the breathing effect that now you can't see and I'm sad. But it requires 6 LED, or no, it has 6 LED lights. It can be battery operated, but we recommend plugging it in because it kind of it would rather be plugged in. Let's just put it that way. This thing is 68 centimeters tall on its own, 75 with the base, and this is a specially developed custom theme base for Avengers Infinity War. Now, I do have to say, I'm really sorry, but this is not wearable. You should not be wearing this piece if you own it. It has a handle on the inside, so you'll think that you can, but
That's just to put it on the base.
it's just to put it on the base. It's not for you to actually wear. I'm so sorry. But look how cool. This is the freaking coolest thing ever. So head on over to side.show/life-size gauntlet and add this to your collection right now. It is in stock and it comes in probably a box that I know I can fit in the box. I feel like most people in this room, maybe not Steven or Jeff, because you guys are really tall, but like most people can fit in the box that this thing comes in. So it's really, really awesome. But before we get to Steven and Ellen, we have one more thing. You know what time it is. Yay! This week's Kids Sideshow Challenge is for this 10th scale Thanos from Iron Studios that we showed you earlier in the show. Luckily, we have one right here to show you that this is what you could potentially win this week if you complete the Kids Sideshow Challenge. So, as you know, if you head on over to side.show/LYKS Thanos, you can see all the like miniature ways to enter this giveaway. Things like listening to our podcasts, things like joining our Facebook group. All things you should be doing anyway, but if you do these things, you can get 5 entries, 10 entries, little amounts of entries like that. All would go towards trying to win this Thanos. If you would like to enter for 1,000 bonus entries per platform, all you have to do is create your own Infinity Gauntlet out of found items around the house and your office. So it has to be out of found items, but I love this idea. First off, I can't wait to see what you all come up with, how you find all the different stones, and you need to post that on your Facebook page, 1,000 points, on your Instagram, 1,000 points, on your Twitter, 1,000 points, so you could get up to 3,000 bonus entries for this Thanos right here. And all you have to do, it's really not that hard. I can already think of like 3 different ways to potentially do this out of stuff in our office. So just saying. Ewok skins.
No. Ewoks.
But just again, head on over to side.show/LYKS Thanos. There are many ways to enter the Let Your Kids Sideshow Challenge every week, but the most fun and for the most reward, it is to do the bonus entries, as well as be sure to leave those pictures up so we can see them. And Sam, do we have a video to show right now?
Yes. From last week's challenge.
From last week's challenge.
Last week's challenge was get help, remember?
Yeah. Last week's challenge was get help.
It's so
Hey, we should do get help. Nonsense. You love get help. It'll totally work.
Someone help us. Help us. My cat is sick. Ah!
Hey, let's do get help. No. Come on, you love it. I hate it. Come on.
Help! Please! My brother's dying! Get help! Help!
So, Sideshow's Let Your Kids Sideshow contest was to recreate this Get Help scene from Thor Ragnarok. I don't have Thor or Loki, so I think I'm using Darth Vader and Boba Fett, but I'm not sure what I want to do. I don't know if I want to do maybe stop motion or maybe just take a picture.
JJ! Are you playing with your toys again? Get help! JJ, get help!
Oh my gosh. Thanks for the countdown, Sam. Anyway, I was just so enthralled that I was like, oh, now I'm looking at myself. Anyway, we haven't actually told the winner that they won, mostly because we knew the winner would be watching. So congratulations to JJ Joe. Woo! You are the winner of the Loki 6-scale figure from last week. And once again, you guys head on over to side.show/LYKS Thanos and enter for your chance to win this Thanos from Iron Studios. We have another short break for you, and when we come back, we have Steven and Ellen in the house. I'm so excited, you guys. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, welcome to another Sideshow unboxing. Today we will be taking the Adi Granoff Artist Series Iron Man Extremis Mark II statue out of the box. It is a really awesome statue which has a lot of parts, so let's just get right to it. First we're going to take the base out. Right here. There's a small piece that goes onto the base and attaches with a magnet like so. That way, the motion. Then grab Iron Man's body. We recommend grabbing it by just around the shin/calf area. It keys in to the base like so. There is a metal rod that runs from where he blasts off through his leg. That metal rod is meant for longevity and display. We're going to grab the arms really quickly and have them key in. They are keyed in with a magnet as well. Oops. There you go. So he has a nice little pose. After you have his arms on, we recommend putting on all of his flaps. This one goes on the top of the Extremis armor. Everything is color-coded, so you can make sure that it is done correctly. All of the flaps kind of move in an outward motion that you can see. Oops. And it's a matter of keying them in so that everything moves outward from the armor to expose the underneath. So again, color-coded. Let's get that right there. We can do this one. And then on the other side, that one, that one. And then there are two other pieces that go into his leg. Be sure to put those in with the extra piece going upward because it keys in two different spots. This is a tension key. So after you have all of those in, you can go ahead and get Iron Man's helmet on him. There is a magnet as well as a key. So that is the Extremis Armor Mark II put together like that. And if you get our exclusive version, it comes with a swap out, which has Tony Stark's portrait on it. So there you go. This is the Adi Granoff Artist Series Iron Man Extremis Mark II statue. Thank you guys so much for watching another Sideshow unboxing. And don't forget to let your geek side show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sideshow Live. Today's guests have been a part of so much of pop culture that they're pretty much recognizable wherever they go. So this husband and wife are an action-powered power couple and kick the asses of everyone in Hollywood. So please welcome to the studio, Ellen Hollman and Stephen Dunlevy. Woo! Hi, guys. How are you?
So happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, this is so amazing to have you guys in-house, like right now. It's so cool.
Thank you for inviting us.
Of course. So let's start with Steve really quick. So for those of you thinking to yourself, like, that guy like looks kind of familiar, you know, it's because he's basically been in like every movie ever. If you just want to go with that, we're talking. Well, Jumanji, John Wick 2, Logan, Mad Max Fury Road, Rampage, Deadpool 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Spartacus, Suicide Squad, X-Men Origins. Do you want me to keep going?
I think it's easier to say the things that he hasn't.
Yeah.
I feel like that
Funnily
easier.
enough, no Avengers films.
I
was always doing something else.
Yet.
Yeah.
There you go. But both in front of the screen as an actor and as a stuntman, and behind the scenes as a stunt coordinator and doing mocap, you've been in all of our favorite movies. Yeah, it's very cool. And then Ellen has basically beat the snot out of everyone in Hollywood. including him.
That's how we met.
That's actually how we met.
That is by you beating him
We
up?
met on the set of Spartacus, yeah.
And she just kicked your
I was
ass.
part of the stunt team. We were training her to fight.
I was playing Saxa, the German gladiatress, as you do. It's
Yeah.
just a Tuesday in our household.
Right.
And I saw his character, the Egyptian, playing with these reverse grip double daggers, and I thought to myself, I want. I want those. He wasn't half bad either.
Yeah.
So he would train me in the reverse grip double daggers. So you can imagine when I went to the show creator Stephen DeKnight and said, hey, so what do you feel about these reverse grip double daggers that are literally the size of my forearm? He goes, let's do it.
That's
So
amazing.
he allowed me to have that as a weapon, and that's actually how we met.
That's so cool.
So romantic.
So again,
Oh,
Ellen,
yep,
there we
there we
go.
go.
Ellen
There
is
we
probably
go.
best known for her portrayal of the warrior woman Saxa in the show Spartacus, who manages some John Wick level body counts with her trusty twin daggers.
I think it was like 36 that episode. It was about 36 that episode.
She returned as another damsel who causes distress in the Scorpion King 4 as Valina. I know, that was actually, I love that.
I'm a damsel.
Who causes distress. It's
Yes,
so cool.
yes. Mm-hmm.
And her cage fight in that movie is epic. So even it's so cool.
So fun.
And I think it's
So
safe
fun.
to say that we have two of the most dangerous and badass guests that we've ever had on Sideshow Live.
So if the
right
apocalypse
here.
happened right now, you guys would be so covered.
That's true. That's true. That's good to know. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So a question for both of you. What got you started down the path that would eventually lead to acting and then stunts, or which came first, the stunts or the acting?
Ladies first.
Oh my gosh, honey. Thank you, sweetie. I've been in the industry about 17 years or so, and whatever you break out in, that tends to be the genre that you stick in.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think my first film 17 years ago was Roadhouse 2. I was a kindergarten teacher / military chick, because those two things go together. Right.
With an awesome tramp stamp.
The tramp stamp. I gave me like a big butterfly tattoo. I'm like, sure guys, yeah, 90s. We'll make this happen here. So I kind of got my taste for blood in that one, and my God, 17 years later, doing the same thing. I was fortunate enough to play Sax in Spartacus, as well as Zephyr in mixed martial arts series Into the Badlands, which is on AMC. I was an albino. It was so badass. Had a long sword. It was pretty fantastic.
That's amazing.
And going forward, I have a couple exciting ventures coming along as well, which hubby is training me. In fact, just this morning we had a 7 a.m. kickboxing session. It was coffee and kickboxing. Half of these bruises, I think, are from training right now.
That's amazing. I love that coffee and kickboxing. That should be a thing.
Exactly. We don't sit there with a newspaper like a normal couple. It's me blocking punches, basically.
Well, it's usually me blocking your punches.
That's what it usually is. But I absolutely love doing it. I've been part of the jiu-jitsu world for quite some time, and adding more things to my belt. So it's been an exciting path.
It's amazing. And you, Steve?
I was at college. I was studying economics and marketing, but I was doing martial arts, taekwondo at the time, and I loved driving cars as any 19-year-old does. And I was doing some acting, and I got a summer job, working for Fox Studios, open up a backlot in Sydney, and they had some stunt guys come out to train them, to train us in some of the street performance, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. People get paid to do that.
And what was your first job? What was your first job? Your official?
That was for Universal. Yeah, just after that, I went to Universal and then ended up playing the Terminator in T2 3D.
Oh my god!
Did
you totally
I totally can see you as the Terminator. But I like that. What was your first? And he's like, oh yeah, the Terminator.
It's kind of cool to dress up in those leathers and have the shotgun and. Because Arnold Schwarzenegger I was always obviously a big fan, Pumping Iron and Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Terminator series. I was a huge fan of the early Terminator series. I'll put that out there.
So do you guys have a specific stunt on your resume that you're particularly proud of?
You know what? Actually, one of my favorite stunts I did, I shouldn't say favorite because it terrified me the most, was that jump we did, a 150-foot jump off a castle rampart in Romania on a descender crane.
I'm sorry, what?
to rocks below.
There was a rock quarry below. It was absolutely terrifying, and the person that they initially did the jump with was a guy, so he was nowhere near my weight, and he also does rigging as well. He's an all-rounder. So he was actually there doubling our lead, Victor Webster. So he was there, I saw him watching the wires, and he's got his notepad. They used to call him the professor. He's there with his notepad just writing down.
It was more to do with the fact that I had an eye infection. I had to wear my glasses the entire time. But
in the Scorpion King outfit.
Leather pants and glasses.
So I have the harness on, and I'm looking down 150 feet to this rocky quarry, and you're just hanging on this thin wire off of what we call a descender crane. And I just kind of looked down at him. I'm like, am I gonna die doing this? And he was there luckily to make sure, because there was quite a language barrier with the team out there, because it was a Romanian stunt team. So I'm like, am I going to die when I jump off a castle? And they're like, "Bleh."
That's how she talks to me.
I'm like, honey, can you make sure I survive this to tell the tale? So that was probably the most terrifying and exciting.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So thanks for having my back, babe.
Absolutely. Of course. I've got to bring you home in one piece.
He has a personal stake in this matter, so.
I feed him three square meals a day. There's the incentive.
Recently, probably the one that comes to mind recently is probably John Wick 2 in the mirror room sequence.
Oh my god, that one's brutal.
So there's the four of us. There we go. There's a pit. There's me looking at my feet going,
my head's about to cave in.
So I get shot off the staircase and fall. And the way we wanted to do it, Chad Stahelski, the amazing director of the John Wick series of 2 and 3, it was all mirrors, so we couldn't put any pads down. So it was a concrete stage, obviously with mirrors over it. So I had to fall onto that, and the way we did that, I had a harness on, and I fell through my wires, but the wires catch me. I free fall until the very last second, and we go into what they call a gold tail. So there's a line that catches me at the very last second and decells the fall just enough that I won't get knocked off, hopefully won't get knocked unconscious. But it involved me stalling the fall out to the very last second, because I've got wires on my upper body and on my legs. So the wires on my upper body go taut first, and they snap my feet towards the ground. Wow. Which causes you, if you don't go to the last second, you end up heel toeing in, and then you snap your head back and get knocked unconscious.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was a fun one. We had to do it.
Andy and I watched that one the other day in the office, and I was like, how the heck did he do that? And now I know.
Yeah.
It's trusting your team as well, that they're going to catch you right before you.
Well, especially when you're going and it's like, okay, everyone's set, everything like that. Just to reiterate, the first person in is the medic. They're going to assess him, and then we'll go from there.
Oh my gosh! And
but it was good. I was conscious the whole time. It's a precaution.
I stayed conscious the whole time.
These are the goals we have at work. Just stay conscious the whole time.
I think I was.
I'm pretty sure I remained conscious.
No, it was fantastic. We had an amazing
There's a lot of trust involved too.
There is, yeah.
Yeah.
Funny enough, the stunt coordinator of that, J.J. Perry of John Wick 2, J.J. Perry was the stunt coordinator of Elle's first film, Roadhouse 2.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now, how difficult is it to jump back and forth between the mindset of what it takes to be a stunt performer and then to act the part as well? Like, is there a particular method that you go through?
They're both married to each other.
Okay.
Just like us.
Aww.
Because as an actress, who does a lot of action, if you don't understand how to move physically and it changes from character to character to character, then they're not believable.
Right.
So, and vice versa, as a stunt person, if you don't at least have some knowledge of being an actor, then they're just gonna cut away every time.
Yeah.
Every time you're gonna be featured, which is why he is in such a niche. He's in such a unique position because he did have a background as a theater actor for 10 years before he was in the stunt world.
We had to bring that up.
Shakespeare, actually.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of times he will get these roles in Jumanji, and there's some exciting jobs coming up as well that he can't talk about, but where he will be featured. Because he can say dialogue, he can marry those two.
That was one of the reasons you were featured in Mad Max Fury Road as well. You could make the specific jump they needed to, as well as deliver the dialogue.
Tell them
correct?
about that audition. Tell them about that.
Of like the Rock Rider Chief. So I played the Rock Rider Chief, which you can't really tell because he's covered. I'm standing up on top of the thing. There's me doubling Knox for one of the sequences, one of 3 doubles. That was fun because I'm standing on the vehicle. Well, strapped to the front of the vehicle as we're barreling through the desert, like spraying water, fake fuel into the intake. But on Mad Max, we had an amazing motorcycle team, but they decided at the last minute that this character had dialogue and everything like that, and they wanted to cast someone. And obviously, we were limited to who we had in Namibia because it's not easy to fly people over.
So who was your audition with, honey?
Well, I auditioned. So like
might have heard of her.
Auditioned, but I auditioned on a Tuesday, and we didn't hear anything. And 3 or 4 of us from the team auditioned, and no one heard anything. And finally, I got to Saturday. And it's like, hey, is that scene happening? Do you know who got the audition? And I called the stunt department coordinator, and they're like, yeah, you did. Didn't casting tell you?
Nobody told
No one told me anything. I'm like, so like, Sunday.
Oh my God. Good to know.
Sunday, finally, I get the script. And it's like, oh, okay, I've got 2 pages of dialogue with Charlize Theron.
No big deal.
Yeah. So like Academy Award winner. And then like Monday morning, I'm there like they're changing the costume for me and everything like that because we had a really talented motorcycle guy. Thankfully, that was about the same height, who was doing all the hardcore motorcycle stuff down hills and mountains and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, it's myself and Charlize and just doing dialogue.
Just having a chat.
Yeah.
Just having a chat.
Amazing.
It's pretty incredible.
But that opens up those types of opportunities because of your background and
being
able to duel, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it is amazing to go. Like I've visited him pretty much on every set, and even on Logan when he was essentially the second-hand man to Boyd. He's there in his full-on gear, and he'd be in a scene with him and with Hugh Jackman, and then he'd hop on the line on another unit to help out with the rigging. So he'd be in his full costume that you see right here.
You got to point out, props didn't like me because those hands are like it's a neoprene, very painted. And the first time I did it, I didn't have time to take the hand off, and rigging lines and expensive prop hands don't go well together.
Yeah, that came out of his paycheck.
Oops.
Sorry, guys.
So once you're cast as a stunt performer specifically, or you see that a character that you're going to be playing is going to do a lot of action, how do you begin to prepare? Like, what's your process? And then do you have a particular schedule that you stick to?
Well, this is actually occurring right now. I'm in pre-production for a super exciting job with an actress who's actually featured on your walls here. Not in this particular room, but in one of your other rooms. Which I can't say anything yet. It's going to be a mixed martial arts film.
Oh, awesome.
So for that in particular, to do Muay Thai, kickboxing, etc. So I'm on a 6-day a week, 2.5, 3 hour a day regime. So that's why I'm like, I have to get all in fighting shape per se.
Yeah.
Which is why it's even, and sometimes I break it up. So it's like you do 2 hours in the morning, an hour in the afternoon, because you'll basically pass out through the day. You'll be so exhausted. But for Spartacus, it was more of the hand-to-hand stuff. So there weren't any kicks, there weren't any punches, because to compete with the gladiators, I needed to be fast. I was smaller and I was faster. So having, there we go, there you go. You had to be a little bit scrappy, but quick enough to slice all your counterparts. Yeah, there you go. You had to, this is actually us just having fun. That wasn't, we weren't even, that was just us, you know, keeping everything.
Because after you fought all day, you know, you just go and make movies.
Yeah, I would train with the stunt team in between setups just to be able to keep up with everybody. You just have to be willing to really commit and take care of yourself. It's proper sleep and nutrition. Because even on Spartacus, our call times would be 4 a.m. So you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you didn't get home until 7 o'clock at night. And so in between then, you would have to find times to train. So he can tell you, depending upon what jobs he has to do, what you physically have to look like. Because there's a physical, athletic aspect, but there's also, like for Mad Max, you had to lose a ton of weight.
40 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they wanted us, like, obviously it's a post-apocalyptic, not everyone's getting food, so I was 230 and I went down to 190. I was 230 but when I started, so, and then, but that's just adjusting your training. So normally I'll do, well, we do a lot of like judo and Brazilian jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and things like that normally, but then supplement that with weights to keep, because being 6'3", I get cast as the big guy and things like that, so being super skinny or anything like that doesn't really work for me. So I keep the weights up. But then for
Logan, you were ginormous.
Well, he was a reaver. He had to be.
He was ginormous.
Had to be.
Well, because there will be months at a time. The longest we spent apart, I think, was 4 months, because he was in Namibia, I was in New Zealand. We'll be at other different places in the world.
It works really well for keeping the marriage together. We've
been together nearly 7-8 years. We probably actually physically seen each other too of that. But so much time will go by and be like, wow, you're a ginormous dude, or like, honey, we have to feed you. Like it all depends what the job is.
Then I have a different look. I'm actually 3 different people. She still hasn't worked out.
She still hasn't figured
I'm a
it out.
triplet. Yeah.
He's really a triple in regards to appearance as well. Like he was bald for Mad Max. For oh my God, what do you have to do?
Well, for Logan, I had the beard and the ponytail, Jumanji beard. I didn't have a beard for a long time, and then Jumanji, Logan.
When I went to visit him in Kauai, he had another job. I swear, everything The Rock does, you basically work on. But he went with the big burly beard, and really, we would go on a hike, and people would go out of their way to go to the other side of the trail they were saying, because he'd have his big walking stick, and he'd just be there in all of his gear, and they would just go to the other side. I'm like, babe, how about I walk in front of you so that people see, like, Barbie, hiking Barbie, and not be intimidated.
Not Sasquatch.
Not
So
Sasquatch.
now that you brought up Jumanji, on your list of talents now, you also have dance fighting as well.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about what that was like to film that particular
How did you get that job, honey?
That was I got the job. So a friend of mine was the assistant, was the assistant fight coordinator on that, and funnily enough, Ellen had posted a photo of us. I think we went to video of us doing tango classes.
Salsa.
That's how good a dancer I am. Like, I don't know, but So, and he saw the photo and put me up for it, and I got the audition and got it. But that was amazing. We jumped. So literally got off the plane and got driven. We arrived in Honolulu and then got driven to the North Shore, which is about an hour and a half. The guy was like, yeah, this is you. And we're looking, there's just jungle. And we've got our bags and everything. And myself and Rob Mars, who's the other stunt performer, actor in that sequence. We literally trekked through the jungle and found and we started dance lessons straight away. So we had I think we filmed it over about a month, that sequence, because we had rehearsals with Karen, who was amazing.
Yeah.
And her stunt double, Janelle. We started with the dancing and obviously having to piece that together and then adding the fight beats in around the dance sequence. So that's amazing. Yeah.
I think
it was hilarious. It was hard, hard not to keep a straight face. But it was just, it was a fantastic scene.
Awesome. So Ellen, we have to talk Saxa really quick. She was a standout character on Spartacus for sure. She kicked everyone's ass. So how do you prepare for a role like that from what it takes physically to how did the role expand once they saw what you could really do?
Well, I don't think they really knew what to do with me when I showed up. Like, I've been training for like 3 months before this job, and then as soon as I showed up, I'm like, I want to train with all the stunt guys. I want to be this gladiatress. They're like, whoa, okay. So
it's perfect though.
Yeah, because to play a strong female character in a series with Lucy Lawless, aka Xena,
like the OG strong,
the OG.
Yeah, right.
It was a dream. And
I know.
My mom she named her dog Xena. My mom had a life-size Xena poster. I'm like, Mom, I'm working with Xena. But only in
Please, do you bring your mom to set?
It was all the way in New Zealand, so it was such a hype.
Okay,
but I remember the first day I met Lucy Lawless, I was just like, I was so starstruck. I was like, this is absolutely, it's a dream.
Yeah.
And then for me to actually be the gladiator in that, to be the female warrior in that, I'm like, I am not going to screw this up.
Yeah.
I am going to cross every T and dot every single I and not rely on a double to do anything. And in fact, I didn't have a double. I didn't have a double both seasons. I didn't have a double.
That's incredible.
Because Mad Max stole my double for Charlize. Mad Max stole my double. The woman who was supposed to double me ended up getting the doubling role.
We
for
brought her out
Charlize.
we brought her out to Namibia. So.
Yeah, so because Saxa had the reverse grip double daggers, there's more than capable people there physically to do the other things, but the daggers were such a unique thing that I've been training for months and months on that they couldn't find anyone that could actually do it. That was my height, my size, my coloring, everything.
That's job security right there.
Oh, job security. Yes, no, I basically gave myself job security. And when Stephen DeKnight first created Saxa, I don't think they really had a game plan what they wanted to do with her. So they're like, wait a minute, she likes to drink. She likes women, and she likes to kick ass. She's Gannicus.
Yeah.
She's the female Gannicus. We're like, let's just make them love interest. And I'm like, oh my God, because Gannicus he's the rock star of the series.
Yeah.
Like, he is the absolute rock star. The party boy, yeah. So it was so fun to be that counterpart. And you just want to show up as prepared as possible.
Ellen was like the scrappy kitten that rocks up and everyone's like, does anyone own this? But someone puts out a saucer of milk and then it just keeps going. And eventually it's just like we were shooting a fight sequence while we were rehearsing for a fight sequence, and it's in one of the things, like Ellen's character, I think it's like an 8 or a 10-foot jump off like the rock wall. Like as they're coming down, you jump down, you jump onto a shield, ride the guy with the shield down, and then roll off.
Into a shoulder roll, hanging block, and 6 feet.
Yeah. So we didn't have a double for that.
So
it was
we can all do that in here, right?
It got to the point where they actually let me coordinate my own stuff.
Oh wow, that's
amazing. Well, that was like, we didn't have a double for her to do that, and Ellen was like, well, I need to rehearse this. It was like, yeah, but we need to do like the 80 other fight beats as well, so we'll get to you. So Ellen had time off, and all of a sudden, like, we're off on this set, and you just see this scrappy little kitten in that costume carrying what we call a pudding. And it's like 2 or 3 guys to carry these mats, but it's just this. As she's dragging this mat across the stage, and we all just stop and we're like. And the coordinator he's like, I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. And I would like double secure my ankles, and I put like sandpaper on the bottom of my feet, and I test out the shield. They're like, what is she doing? They're like, I don't know. We don't see it, because if we don't see it, we're not liable. Which is so true. It's so true.
That's
so
amazing.
True. So it's like, if there's something that you really want in life, don't wait for someone else to give it to you.
Yeah.
Don't wait for somebody. No, it's like. I'm just saying this to anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this to anybody.
There's a live audience right now. She's talking to all of them.
Don't wait for someone else to give you the opportunity. just step up to the plate and make it happen for yourself. Because no one's going to be like, oh, is this your dream? Here you go.
Just don't use reverse grip daggers in real life.
Yes. There you go. Don't use it.
And don't let the stunt coordinator see you, because otherwise he's liable.
Exactly. Liability. Yeah.
So we have a lot of questions from the audience. So after this very short break, is it okay if you guys stick around? We can have them ask you guys. All right. So you guys will be right back with Stephen Dunlevy and Ellen Hoffman. I'm gonna call you the Hoffinator.
No, you know what? Just stick with
Hoffinator.
Just stick with Ellen, like
Hoffinator.
like Madonna.
Like
Madonna.
Ellen.
Just Ellen.
I
just go by Ellen.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get your name, I swear to God.
Hoffinator.
The Hoffinator.
It is kind of funny because people do think, for some reason, they think Hoffman.
I don't know why. I don't know why either. Anyway, that's not important. We have a short break. We'll be right back. Thank you guys for watching.
Because when he reveals his identity to some of the new Avengers, she actually like freaks out and runs away because she had a major crush on Peter Parker. They were high school classmates, which also makes me wonder. So she's also Cindy Moon's high school classmate.
Yep, she would also
think it's super weird.
Oh my gosh, think about all the people you went to high school with. Like, if I think about that too. I would probably have a Jessica Jones moment if I was like, oh my God, you're Spider-Man? This is so stupid. What? Like, how?
But but she had a major crush on him as a kid, and then the one time he showed her compassion after her incident and she woke up from the coma, she was like, I don't need your pity. Like, get out of here with that. But
we are back with Stephen Dunlevy and the Hollmanator. I got it correct. Which is funny that you're the Hollmanator, but he played the Terminator. So that's it was like meant to be.
We now. Now that you're married, it's we. It's either mine or us.
Aww.
Yeah, I don't have anything anymore. It's Ellen's or it's ours.
Yeah. Oh, that's how that works. All right, good to know. Noted. So we do actually have a lot of questions for you guys. So how difficult is it for you to learn fight choreography, and how much time do you spend on it for a scene that maybe lasts a few moments in total?
It depends how tricky the choreography is. Like, I've been doing it for 20 years now, so generally you can show me something once or twice and I can do it. Again, it depends how many beats we're talking about. Like, we break it up into beats, so usually one beat is about a second. So, it's like we had Spartacus, you're doing sometimes like 200 beat fights, so that'll be over a week. You'll break it down and learn it and things like that, and things can get a little tricky, but if it's just for a couple of seconds on film, some days you'll come in and learn it on the day. Like, especially for TV here in LA, unless it's a intricate fight sequence, you're learning it on the day.
And it also depends if there's gags involved. Like, if there's a rigging gag involved, like the cage fight I had with Eve Torres Gracie in Scorpion King, there's a few gags. Like where I was on a rig where she lifts me up like this. Eve is really strong, but to lift a human body above your head like that is a lot.
Yeah.
So I was on a rig. So we did about 25% of the fight, and then you get to that point, and obviously that's a big what we call setup.
We shot that fight over a couple of days, didn't we?
That was about 4 days or so.
4 days, yeah.
That was about 4 days or so, and then there's blood resets and things like that, and sometimes you have to shoot the end of the fight first. Like, so you have to know what state of mind your character is at the end of it.
Wow.
And also we have what are called previs. So in your previs, you'll, like, if I punch you in the face, you're going to have a red mark here. If I punch you in the nose, you'll have some blood. So if they shoot the end bit first, you have to be like, okay, so, okay, blood here, blood here, blood here, blood here. On Sparty, they had an incredible hair and makeup team, and they would go to the previs, which are essentially rehearsals, so they would know what it would be. But sometimes, like, you wipe it off accidentally, or there's so much going on that certain things get missed. So as a performer, it is your responsibility to know where you are physically and emotionally. Just keeping tabs of how distraught you are, basically. There's a science to it, because what makes fights interesting is the beginning, middle, and end.
Bring a question about fights to makeup. How did you do that?
Because they're all intertwined. I mean,
it's
the same. It's the same
every
layer. It's the same thing.
But you need all of it to make the scene believable.
Yeah,
right.
It's different. It's the actor's approach to the stunt guy's approach. Like, for me, it's all about the fight beats and things like that. And having said that, fights are, for a long time, fights were just you would have a character set up and all of a sudden they're doing this weird stuff. Fights are unspoken dialogue, so a fight should be an extension of the character, and it should be like there's obviously different styles and different ways to fight, but someone who's not skilled all of a sudden being this kick-ass fighter just doesn't work, so it's teaching them a style that is sloppy or manipulating different sequences. Like all of a sudden someone doing a really sequenced like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu move doesn't make sense. So it's being able to choreograph those skills around what the character is.
And also, like, it also depends on how great your director is as well. Because something for a movie like Avengers, when they had the whole fight in Wakanda, it's at the end, they're all starting to get defeated and they're exhausted.
Yeah.
It's all of that was God knows how long that took to shoot. But in order to capture the exhaustion and tell that story that, oh my God, are they going to lose? Are they going to win? When you punch in for coverage, that coverage may be 3 days after you've done that fight sequence.
Oh, wow.
Right? So you have to remember as an actor what state of mind I was in, which means perhaps you do 50 push-ups on the ground to be exhausted, or you do cartwheels or whatever. So when that close-up comes up, your face is reading that. And the director will have to know what every cog in the wheel, where they're at emotionally and physically. Because let's say, like, I'm supposed to strangle him, and this is what his face
We're never
looks
going to
like.
get to the rest of these questions.
we
we just spent half an hour answering one question.
We're never going to get to the end of the questions. There's endless questions.
Well, one of them is actually directly related to what you guys are currently talking about. So when you are both actors who do your own stunts, do you hold back out of caution, or do you go all out regardless of the situation?
Fight-wise?
Yeah.
You never really go all out. Well, it's not like a UFC fight. I mean, most fights...
They don't break anybody's bones on
I mean,
bones,
is it a
bones
stunt?
do get broken.
Yeah.
I mean,
not
unfortunately,
on purpose,
not on purpose.
No.
Normally, like, if people are going, like, full out, there's different versions of full out. Usually, what you want is your intent, and that's where the acting side comes out. Intent is 100%, and you can do a fight at 50%, but have your intent at 100%. And it will look amazing. Wow. Because it's sharp and it's clean. Not necessarily. Normally we go around 75% of what our stunt guys are. You go to 75% of what the lowest person is capable of.
And also they can ramp it up in post.
So we can do, like, there's obviously moves and edits and things like that, but your intent sells the fight. So normally it's about 75%, and that keeps it clean and sharp. I'd rather see a fully extended, nice cross than a rabbit punch or a really short, sharp, because it doesn't read as well on camera.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. What is your favorite fighting style?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, hands down. My favorite.
I like that he laughed. Like
well, no, because that was going to be. Ellen loves it. Ellen loves the technicality.
We spar. We roll all the time. We roll
Yeah.
all the time. And what the boys say, it's like trying to snag a baby shark, like trying to hold on to a baby shark.
We're trying to wrangle a cat, right? Yeah. She'll claw you back too. I mean, having done all I love what Chad Stahelski has done with the John Wick films, in terms of mixing the judo and hapkido and different styles. There's Filipino martial arts in there and trapping and blocking. I love everything. Like, there's obviously some nice, really elegant kicks from Taekwondo, but what Taekwondo the sport has become isn't necessarily like fantastic, but those long, clean lines of Taekwondo kicks, and then the Filipino knife fighting styles, which is we incorporated into the character, the Egyptian and Saxa in Spartacus, things like that. Yeah.
Wow. Are there some classic and iconic stunts that you find astounding? Like a stunt that you didn't perform that's from before your time that you still look at and go like, wow.
I'm still inspired by oneers. Because oneers that are from back in the day, because there's certain oneers you see, which means there's no cuts whatsoever, which are the most challenging to do. Like in Atomic Blonde, it's seemingly a oneer, but there's digicuts. So those digital cuts can make it look like it's a whole one piece sequence when really it has been chopped up, because that means it has to be an absolute perfect symphony. It's almost like theater, where everyone has to have their cue seamlessly for everything to work. That is one of the
But I think there's only, like, in that 15-minute sequence, there's only something like 4 digicuts or something like that.
But it looks like it's one big
It does, but like a lot of those big fights, like that stair fight sequence was all one. And
like
everything.
Jackie Chan back in the day, he would do a lot of one-ers where it is very clearly him getting the crap kicked out of himself.
Wow.
Where in the what we call gags, so a gag is like, okay, if he kicks a ladder and it hits him in the face, and then more guys come in this. That means that he probably got hit in the face so many times before all the other cues were perfect. So I have a massive respect for any mixed martial artist out there, but the one-ers in particular are really impressive to me.
That's
For me, it's like going back to Buster Keaton.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the original, like, you know, slapstick. Because they were inventing all of that. Like, the old school cowboys that did the westerns and like Buster Keaton, these days, like, stunt people have progressed from being daredevils and complete risk takers. There's obviously, we still have a risk taking mentality, but there's an educated science behind it. We'll consult with like physicists, and we'll consult with like this engineers and special effects artists and everything like that when we're going to do a stunt these days. And we obviously make it very safe. Like the stuff we did on Mad Max, Guy Norris was the stunt coordinator and second, but Guy Norris was also was one of the stunt guys from the second Mad Max. He did all that, but they were discovering everything they could do back then, and those guys brought that knowledge. All those guys that limp and like are missing limbs and fingers and toes and legs and things like that walk around like limping because their hips are being smashed. They're all the guys that allow us to be safer these days because they did it for real, and they worked out all the kinks and then they allowed us to do it safer.
But also CGI, I feel like, has replaced a lot of the actual things that people do.
It's made it safer.
It's made it a lot safer. Yeah.
This gets asked to all of our guests. So who is your favorite Batman?
Bat Dad.
Bat Dad. Oh, no one's ever answered that.
What are you doing? Stop! Get out of my room.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's no one's ever answered that before. That's amazing.
That's the politically correct one, right?
Yeah, for real. You can't upset anyone with Bat Dad. He's amazing. That's incredible. What is your favorite costume or prop that you have ever used?
Favorite costume or prop? Aside from the daggers. I mean, that was definitely my favorite. I have a tendency to collect items from set.
So do you have the daggers?
Forget to. I'm not at liberty to divulge that information.
Right. There's no evidence that she has those daggers.
There's no evidence that I have any daggers, swords, knives, or any paraphernalia from that show whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Mm-hmm.
I got to play with. So we did the previs for Aquaman at 87 when and Jason came in and he brought the trident. So Aquaman's trident, so I got to play around with that, and so that
Wolverine's.
Oh, the claws! I did,
claws.
Oh, the claws! Yes, of course, yeah.
I
mean, that was really cool as well.
Hey, remember those Wolverine claws you got to play with?
Oh my god!
Well, the thing is, like, I got to the funny. It's weird. Because I got to use those claws so much, it became
part of you.
Well, not like Hugh Jackman part of me. Not like that.
I'm like, take these home.
But no, that was they just kind of became, because they were there all the time.
Yeah.
It just became part of it. Whereas like the trident, I got to play with like once or twice, and then it was gone. But because on Logan, obviously, and then I did the second Wolverine. That was kind of part of it. Yeah.
That's very, very, very cool. So, which job has been the most challenging and which the most rewarding?
Marriage. Oh
my god! I guess that's the answer to both questions, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Stop it. Anything that requires a lot of physicalness to get into. So, Spartacus was extremely challenging because the training, the gladiator boot camp that we mentioned. Into the Badlands was super difficult because we were. It was a post-apocalyptic world, and it was 110 degrees in New Orleans, and I'm wearing head-to-toe wool riding boots. I had metal pieces attached to my hair and my scalp, so that was super fun. You can smell your scalp burning. Every single one.
White hair as well.
On white hair, they made me
you're an albino character.
And then even this film that I'm in pre-production for, I will be sparring with actual fighters. I will actually have the cage on my face and feel.
We've had Josh Barnett on here, yeah.
So, Josh Barnett. I've started training with Josh Barnett, as well as the 8711 boys. I've been training with them for about 2.5 years. They're the ones who did Deadpool, all the John Wicks, Atomic Blonde, so many other things, Matrix, etc., etc., etc. It's just getting knocked down and getting back up. It's every single job has its own challenges, and in this one, it's so exhausting, but so rewarding.
But yes, but so rewarding.
So rewarding.
Very cool.
You, my dear?
I mean, Mad Max we were in Namibia I was there for 8 months.
6-day weeks, right?
6-day weeks, and we were doing like crazy hours. The first 3 or 4 days we were there, we were doing like French hours, which is where you just work continuously and they bring lunch to you. But
they bring lunch to you.
When you're on 120 vehicles that are constantly doing laps up and down, vehicles get forgotten and things like that. So it was kind of 3 days. Yeah. It was that everyone's a little too fat. So, but that was just, I mean, it was interesting because when we first got there, you think it's a desert and it's really warm. We were there in the middle of winter, and deserts get cold, obviously, and people, we had no shirts on. So it was, and then you get the wind chill from the vehicles, so it would get super cold. People are like huddled around the exhaust trying to get the warmth from the exhaust. I remember I was on the Giggle Horse, which was the Immortans vehicle, and we would have those twin engines, and occasionally when the wind blew right, you'd get the heat off the engines, and that made you smile.
You're like,
And just the conditions we were in. I had contacts at the time, and myself and another camera guy, we went because the dirt was building up under the contacts. I started losing my eyesight. I got infections in both eyes, and I was getting ulcers and started losing the eyesight, so I couldn't wear contacts there and had to have these special drops in. And,
oh my gosh. So challenging.
Yeah.
I started to go blind.
Fellow castmates of mine have broken their ribs, broken their eye sockets, been knocked unconscious.
Blood infections.
I was covered in scars, just like all kinds of all kinds of stuff. There's always risks.
Yeah.
There's always risks.
So what's next, if you guys can talk about it? What are you working on at the moment?
There are several things that I'm so excited. I just can't.
So we'll have to have you back after they've been announced.
But one thing I can say is I recently have collaborated with Reginald Hudlin, who is the graphic novelist of Black Panther. So he's actually collaborating with us on a project that I wrote and I'm producing.
That's fantastic! Congrats!
So,
that's really cool.
Steven's also a producer on it as well, so that's something that's super exciting. And then I have a big studio action film that I'm leaving for very shortly. Very shortly. That is going to involve some really cool bionic parts. And then this mixed martial arts film is a collaboration with some people that you guys would definitely recognize. So
that's amazing.
It's very exciting.
Yay.
Yes. Yay. How about you, my dear?
I think I can say. I mean, like, well, I mean, I can say because like it's all stunts. Like we got John Wick 3 coming up. That's coming out. I worked on that, and then last year worked on Hobbs and Shaw as well.
Oh, very cool.
Which is coming out, and that was another fun stunt. I was like riding around in a Black Hawk for a lot of it. That some of that footage is online, so I guess I can say that.
Cool.
And then
The Rock again.
Well, and Jungle Cruise.
And Jungle Cruise.
And Jungle Cruise. So I worked on Jungle Cruise as well. So that's coming up as well. They're all films to look out for in the next.
There's another one too that you just finished.
Just can't say.
That they would knock you upside the head if you forgot to mention that one. It's a biggie.
We'll talk about it later.
Oh yeah.
Her action figure.
Oh okay, yeah. They just wrapped on Birds of Prey, which I worked on as well. So.
Which is the.
Yeah.
The movie about?
Well, it's Harley Quinn, Huntress, and I don't know.
Harley Quinn. You guys have heard of her?
Huntress. Who's not at all my favorite character in the DC universe.
Exactly.
Cool. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So that's going to be a fun film as well.
Don't you hate it when you forget to mention things like the Harley Quinn movie? Like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but I mean, with the resume like what you guys have put together, like how can it's stuff like
So proud of him.
Yeah, it's okay. Like you said earlier, it's easier to say the things he hasn't done than the things he has.
But that's like, it's kind of, it's going to sound weird or anything, but like you come to work and you get to play with all of these, and like I'm sure half the audience out there would give a lot to be able to come in here and play with this.
Things that you
Like
guys are working
honestly, kind of doing stunts, I don't know what I'm working on half the time, and you rock up and you're like, oh hey, I'm working with you, or like you standing in front of like Batman or
Harley Quinn
or something like that.
Right?
That's kind of Tuesday.
That's amazing. Well, thank you both so much for joining us. This has been an amazing time. Oh my gosh. And then you're going to have to come back when you're allowed to talk about all the things that we hinted at today. And of course, our audience really wants you to play She-Ra. So whenever that happens.
I said that action figure.
Yeah. We're going to make that happen. And then she'll play She-Ra for us in a fan film, or at least. Anyway, you guys, thank you again so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, guys.
all for watching. We showed you the Iron Studios 10th scale collection. We showed you the Hot Toys Avengers Infinity War collection. We talked with oh my gosh, I almost did it again, the Hollmanator and Stephen Dunlevy, and this has been an amazing show. We'll be back next week with Sideshow and Tell on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. again here on YouTube, and then we'll be back again next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Wow, I'm tired. Anyway, this has been epically amazing. I'm so excited. I can't wait to talk to you guys a little bit more after the show is done. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show. Bye.